Hello and welcome back to The Broken Doll. And today I come to you with these three lovely dolls, all coming out of the time frame of the 1920s. But there's one in particular that I want to talk about. How many of you out there have ever heard of Honeychild? Some of you might have. It's made by the American Doll Company back in 1926. It ran to about 1929. I see a Honeychild on eBay once in a while. They run about anywhere from, depending on condition, you can go from $50 to about $125. I have seen some to about $150, $160. Who is Honeychild here? Can you point it out? The doll. If you point it, you thought it was this one, you're correct. It's even on her chest right here. It says right on her chest, Honeychild. Let's take a look and see that. So you can't forget her name. Let's take a look. It says right on there, Honeychild. I don't know in this light, can you see it? But it does say Honeychild right there. On the back of her as well, she is marked. You can see the year 1926, but it says the AM Doll Company right on the back. It's very faded because of the fact of the paint job that's on it. And it might have been also the fact that they had used the plate many times, and so it's not printing as deep as it used to. So mine could be a little bit later, or it's just the fact that it's the paint job on it. We'll find out once I restore her. Next to her is Dream Baby, also from the 1920s, and also the Bilo Baby. Why do I have all three of them out here? Well, it was the Bilo Baby here. This one right here is the Bilo Baby, made of bisque, German bisque, and all those. This is also German bisque. They came in composition as well. They first came out in bisque. Then they developed into the composition. They turned to the composition line. And you could get both. My Bilo here has celluloid hands, and she also has the froggy-shaped legs, made by Grace S. Putnam. Now the thing is with with this doll here, she was sculpted after a 5-day-old little orphan baby, little girl. Many dolls were sculpted after children. The artist sculpted after their own or some other child that they've seen. So, but anyways, the reason why I have these three here is that we talked about this on my last video yesterday. If you haven't seen my video yesterday, go and take a look at it. I do talk about this. We're talking about pie and how much I like pie, especially my mother's pie. But we're also talking about another kind of pie. What kind of pie am I talking about? Well, we talked about Shirley Temple when she was made, and how a lot of people wanted to have a piece of that pie, so they made knockoffs. The Patsy doll, another doll that I'm working on, it's a Patsy type doll. She's also a piece of the Patsy pie, and this here is a piece of the Bilo pie. And everybody wanted a piece of that pie. So you have these dolls that come in and they start to copy one another. And that's what happens, and they all made a hit. They all sold. I would say this would be more unlikely not to be the desire of a child, more than probably a Bilo, yes, for sure, and the Dream Baby, but these were sold just as well because they were cheaper, and you can get that kind of Bilo look. And but they all have that type of round the cheek area. If you look around here, a little bit around here. There are differences for sure, but there are also likenesses in the face. Because why? Again, everybody wanted to make some money off these dolls. They were beautiful dolls, and they all came out around the same time period. And but the only thing is that they didn't last long, because why? There's always a new line of dolls coming in right behind them, and another pie was baked in the oven. And that next one will be whatever it is that's coming up. A lot of big baby dolls were made at this time as well. The 20s were a wonderful time to be a child receiving these wonderful dolls. The only thing is now you will be probably getting close to dying now, and their heirlooms would be passed on to the new ones to hold them in their arms and in their collection, which is wonderful because now we can enjoy them. And you know, the little hands that used to touch them and kiss them and take them to bed with them. They're wonderful dolls, you know, and I'm surprised that her hands are still in the condition that they are, because these dolls are now 100 years old. They all share a 100-year-old birthday, if not a couple years over now. And the condition that they're in is just wonderful. This one here was given to me by a nurse at work in the emerge department where I worked. And she said that they had a cottage, and there was an elderly lady who said she still has her doll and would like to give it because she had a little girl, but her little girl wasn't interested in the doll at all. So she said for years it sat up in the closet, And it just sat there in a shoebox. And she says, would you like to have it? I said, oh my goodness, yes. She says, made of glass. I said, oh, that'd be even better, you know. Now, again, these dolls, the Bilo Baby can run quite a clip when it comes to, you know, buying one. But you can still pick up a Dream Baby in the bisque form for not too bad of a price. I've seen them as low, believe it or not, as $50, all the way up again to about $150. Again, condition. But that's as much as I've ever seen her. Now, if she's went up higher, it hasn't hit my eye. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened though. And the Honey Child is up for restoration, and these ones just sit in my buggies and my prams and everything, and they just look pretty in there. Now, she also has the froggy shaped body. That is how you will identify a Bilo Baby. Just first, oh, I'm outside here, so my blue jays are squawking because they want more peanuts. I will do that after I'm done this video. In the meantime, you're going to have to put up with listening to them like I'm doing them right now, because they just will not stop squawking. They're telling me off right now. Where's that lady with the peanuts? But anyways, yeah, to identify a Bilo Baby is by looking at her, the first way, just not by looking at her name on the back or anything else, look for frog-shaped legs. If she doesn't have them, I'd be a little, wonder what happened to her body. Doesn't mean that the head still could be a Bilo. She just might have got a new body and it wasn't copied to the Grace Putnam style. This is the Grace Putnam style. Another way is that she could be stamped with an ink stamp. I don't know if this one is. We'll take a look and see. No, she doesn't have an ink stamp on her body. She's really clean though. A very clean doll. But she is marked on the back of her head. If we were to take off her bonnet, let's take this bonnet off and look at the back of her head. We can see that she's marked on the back of her head. There it is right there. Grace S. Putnam. Alright, so there we go. So she has her markings on the back of her head. Beautiful, beautiful dolls. Now, if I was to say, how would you clean one of these, you know, to keep the dust off, which is, these ones do need to have that done to them, I would look at maybe just a damp rag and very damp. Now, this is not gowns to the time period at all, but we're going to take a look at her as well. And let's see how she's made. Now, she's straight leg, and that would be typical of a Dream Baby, to have the straight legs, okay? Now, what we're going to do, though, let's see if she's marked on the back, AM. And when you see that, that's Armin Marzel, as some say it, and she's also marked in Germany on the bottom. And she has glass blown eyes, just like the Bilo Baby does. The Bilo Baby also has glass blown eyes. Now, when it comes to this doll here, you can see how much cheaper it's made. The neck doesn't turn. She has little legs, undersized arms, and she has that nice, beautiful Bilo newborn look here across the nose and the cheeks. Beautiful eyes. I love the eyes. The eyes are beautiful. I want to learn how to do that with the eyes. Let me come up really close. I don't know how what you're seeing, what I'm seeing there, but you see the little lines in the eyes. I want to learn how to do that. That is beautiful, and it doesn't take much. It's just a little bit of black. That's all it is. So I've got those fine pens, and that's one thing I want to do. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted to show these dolls. You might be able to find other dolls that are like the Bilo Baby that wanted a piece of the pie. There's probably more out there. These are the three that I have that you can compare to the Bilo doll. And how, like I say, Bilo pie must have tasted really good, because a lot of people wanted to make their dolls to look like the Bilo. And it was a competitive world, that's the word, a competitive world out there, even in the doll world. So when you start looking into dolls and the companies that competed against each other, like I say, it was all about money. But also about beautiful dolls that they produced. And they produced some wonderful dolls. I'm glad to have Honey Child in my doll, even though she's maybe not worth as much as far as dollar. It's her history that's worth a lot. And that's what we want. Not to concentrate so much on dollar value, which is important. I'm not undermining that. But what I'm saying more is I value more the history of the doll and what it means and how it played a part in history. And how that pie, that meant so much to other doll companies to get involved in and to make their own doll. And even though it may not have brought in the top dollar like a Bilo or a Dream Baby did, it still brought in money, and it filled the arms of a lot of little girls that maybe their parents couldn't afford. And that means a lot, you know. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're passing by. You're going to miss out on some wonderful videos if you don't. And because I'm worth it, believe me. And because I do some nice videos every now and again. I'll come up with some really good videos, but I do a lot of restoration videos if you're just interested in seeing me restore, or if you want to restore your own doll. A lot of them are saying they're becoming inspired to take on restoring dolls that they either buy or that was given to them through the family or through friends and whatnot. So that's wonderful to hear that you're branching out and taking that on. And for those who don't care to, that's okay too, you know. If you just enjoy watching, that's wonderful, you know. I don't mind. Come on aboard and sit down and grab a Coke or a coffee or tea and just sit and listen to me gab. But anyways, I enjoy making these for all yous, and I love talking about the history of dolls. That's what I enjoy. But anyways, thank you for joining me. Subscribe if you can, and to all my subscribers, both old, new, and in between, thank you for subscribing. And also, leave me a comment. It's free. You know, it's just no stamp and no having to run out to the store, to the post office to mail it. You just have to type me a few nice little words, and I enjoy those too. Okay, thanks again for dropping in, and we'll be coming back with some more videos, and we'll be seeing you soon. Bye-bye.